Phillies presented by Honda. Terrific goaltending matchup between two of the best defensive teams and two of the best goaltenders. When you take a look at the numbers, there's Jonathan Quick. Look at that save percentage, 9.43. He is 7-3-3 on the season. Asking for a fresh water bottle there, it looks like. And at the other end, same 9.43 save percentage. Look at that, goals against, second in the National Hockey League for Frederik Andersen. Dave Strader along with our man inside the glass, Brian Engblom. There's Anze Kopitar, a bit off this season in terms of his start, Brian, in terms of the numbers. But, of course, that 70s line has carried the offense. But a lot of that has been at home. It'll be interesting to see if Kopitar and company can pick it up on the road. And, of course, it's much different facing Anaheim now. It's not just the Getzlaf line.
That's right.
You have to deal with Kessler.
Right. Are we going to see Kopitar against Getzlaf all the time? Or is Anaheim going to try and get Kessler out there and relieve Getzlaf of that duty? It's a little bit slow start statistically for Kopitar for sure, but he hasn't been healthy either day.
Anaheim dominated the season series last year, and as Bruce Boudreau pointed out, that didn't mean much because when it came to the playoff series, even after leading 3-2, the Kings came back and won it. And we are underway here the first time these teams have met this season. And here was Kopitar. Hands it off now for Justin Williams with a shot that's deflected wide. Both teams are coming off games against Vancouver. Anaheim lost here in a shootout against Ryan Kessler's former team, while LA the night before defeated the Canucks 5-1 as they got their offense going a little bit. The crowd is really into it. They started during the national anthem. A lot of LA fans started chanting, "Let's go Kings." And that got the Ducks fans to respond. A drop pass to Williams and a shot just wide on the stick side of Andersen. Slapped at by LA and kept in the Anaheim zone. Here's Williams out of the corner. Gaborik, centering pass, hits a stick. Nobody can control right away. Now Gaborik and Kopitar get it back to the line. Here's Martinez with a shot. That's deflected up high on the glass. Now Matt Green coming down the wall with it. Brian Allen is there now for Anaheim. He pushes it ahead. Williams got a stick on it. Now Carter comes in. The puck deflects. Kings have it. Martinez with a chance. Saved by Andersen. And there's no rebound. Good start for Los Angeles.
When you play the Los Angeles Kings, you can't play your way into it. When the puck drops, they come right at the Anaheim Ducks, and they've had 2 or 3 really good scoring chances already. Alec Martinez, who was a hero for them in the playoffs a couple of times, scoring series-winning goals, comes in from the point, and he has too much time and room. You can see Anaheim, like most teams, overloads on the puck side, but you have to be able to be looking around and look at the back door at the same time. They didn't do it. It nearly cost them. Frederik Andersen, who has tremendous numbers, made a big save.
Carter wins the drop and gets slapped as Green lobs went into the glove of Andersen, and he will hold it there as we take a look at Bruce Boudreau, who was very accommodating, as he always is, after the morning skate with the media, Brian. And he certainly didn't want to put any fuel on the rivalry part of this. He said this is just an important 2 points, and like you said earlier, Brian, that it's important to get off to a good start against this LA team.
Always, but I mean, they lost in Game 7. Bruce said this morning, I'll never forget that game, of course, but this is November. This is another game we want to win.
Now Getzlaf on the far side. Here is Edom with a shot that's off the left hand of Quick. Emerson Edom getting an opportunity to play on the top line with Getzlaf and Smith-Pelly. Again, no Corey Perry, no Francois Beauchemin. Each out with what's being called a viral gland infection. As Tanner Pearson back the other way, slides it past Fowler. Cam Fowler back in the lineup. He was banged up a couple of games ago against Arizona and then missed a game. And he is back in there as this one is lobbed back toward the Anaheim net. Pearson took a hit there from Stoner.
Yeah, well, Stoner got hammered in the corner by Pearson. He was not happy. That's why he came back to the front of the net and gave Pearson a pretty good shot. So the physical play, which is always apparent when LA is playing you, is going to have to be matched by Anaheim for sure.
Now Dustin Brown turns it right back the other way. The LA captain out here with Dwight King and Mike Richards, but now the Ducks send it right back into the LA zone. Here is number 5, Jamie McBain. His first game since signing a 2-way contract for the NHL minimum. Has a shot here off a turnover by Raquel, was turned aside by Quick, and a centering pass deflected away, and Richards pushes it out to center ice. So McBain in the lineup here as Cogliano tries to get it in front. And now Brown trying to push it along. And so McBain, who is paired with Braden McNabb, that defense tandem will get to the bench after their first shift. Of course, the LA Kings has been well documented with some salary cap issues. Had to dress only 5 defensemen for a recent game. as this play is offside at the LA line. So Jamie McBain, who played a few games down in Manchester with the LA Kings American Hockey League team, now that there is cap room, Brian, without getting into all the details, everybody's cap changes a little bit each day. You get a little bit more cap room even if you don't make any moves. So finally LA had enough room to sign a player to the league minimum.
Yeah, McBain, 5 years in the National Hockey League, 4 with Carolina, last year with the Buffalo Sabres. So he's going to have to get used to the Western Conference. That's one of the things that Daryl Sutter brought up. He said especially the way we play. The pace is much faster here in the West and on LA.
Now Clifford being pressured in the corner, takes a hard hit there from Nate Thompson as the fourth line's out here going head-to-head. Now Clifford with it. Hands it off. Muzzin slides it ahead center ice. Lewis across, and now it is driven deep into the Anaheim zone. But another big hit by Stoner, that time on Jared Stoll. So both teams taking an opportunity to finish their checks as Muzzin shot is blocked. Still in the Anaheim zone. Hits the official in the corner. Now the Kings have it again. Out to the line for Muzzin. The combination of Muzzin and Doughty did not have a single point, Brian, in the season series between these two teams last year. And Bruce Boudreau told us this morning, absolutely you have to have a special attention to number 8, Doughty.
Yeah, Doughty, one of the top defensemen in the National Hockey League. Boudreau said we have to keep him in front of us. If we're chasing him, we're in big trouble.
Kopitar, oh, that play just offside.
Yeah, there was Marian Gaborik just a hair offside there on the attack. Here's a look at Slava Voinov, who's still unavailable to the team suspended, and Robin Regeer, who missed the last couple of games, and he's a cornerstone for him. He's a guy on a penalty kill. Regeer hits an awful lot, and because Voinov's not in the lineup either, Drew Doughty's minutes are up. Doughty is actually second to Ryan Suter in minutes played per game, and he's only behind him about 50 seconds per game. That's more than Doughty usually played in the past.
Slava Voinov facing domestic violence charges as this play is offside, but he has not been formally charged by the district attorney in Redondo Beach. So until that happens, Voinov stays on the salary cap for Daryl Sutter, Dean Lombardi, and the LA Kings. He doesn't count as a roster player, so they're able to have 23 active players, not counting Voinov. But his money stays on, and that's where the problem came for the LA Kings, who were very close to the cap, and that's why they, for a few days, could not sign a player or bring up a player even at the NHL minimum, as this is going to be icing and the face-off all the way back into the LA zone.
I talked to Daryl Sutter before the game, and it's been an interesting season for them. Excuse me, 6 home games, they won all 6, went on the road and had 3 losses out of 5. But Daryl doesn't worry very much. He said, actually, we weren't that bad on the road. And he said some of our guys aren't scoring yet. Once Kopitar and Gaborik get going, you know, it won't be just a one-line setup offensively, and that'll make us that much deeper, and it'll look a lot more normal with Kopitar scoring points regularly.
Now Martinez will lob it in wide of the Anaheim goal. Allen is back there, knocked away, and it's pushed back up to center ice. Smith-Pelly across the line, and it is offside. Watch live out-of-market games with NHL Game Center Live. One subscription lets you watch on your computer, smartphone, tablet, and connected devices. Visit NHL.com/GCL to learn more. What an atmosphere, Brian, in the building in the early going here.
The Kings fans and the Ducks fans can't stand each other, and you get a lot of them will travel. LA Kings fans will come down here, and the Ducks fans will go up into LA whenever they can, and it happens here in this building. It's great.
Now Kessler for the Ducks, angles it off the board. Silfverberg will drop it back. And now here comes Josh Manson with a drive that's fought off by Quick. The son of former NHL tough guy Dave Manson.
Boy, there's some heavy hitting going all right.
Pearson slides it across to Foley, tried to chip it out, but he did not get it out. Bolesky is knocked down, a shot from the angle. Quick fights that out. Bolesky tried to get it back to Silfverberg. And now Toffoli sends it across. And here is Doughty. Doughty, Carter, quick redirect to Pearson on the far side. Back to Doughty with a chance here. Decides to drop it off to Braden McNabb, who did not have the shot that he was looking for. And now it's taken away by Carlson, and the Ducks started back the other way. William Carlson, number 38, out here with Cogliano. And Ricard Raquel, number 67, who hands it off for a shot here by Cogliano that missed the net. Stoner pinched in. Now Raquel has it again. Below the goal line, brings it out. Tries to spin away from Carter. Raquel backhands it right out in front. That's what he was looking for. Just get the puck to a potential scoring area. The Ducks keep the forecheck alive here. Carlson spins away from the check of McNabb, who does a good job to stay with him. Now the puck recovered again by Anaheim.
This is exactly the kind of game Anaheim wants to play. When they get two guys down below the goal line, that's where they're really dangerous.
Back out to the line. Stoner trying to change the angle. Shot got through. Quick made the save. And now Brown takes a big hit from Cogliano. And it's thrown back the other way, and this will be icing against Los Angeles.
LA's had the best scoring chances by far in this game. They put a lot of pressure, but here comes Anaheim. Puck inside the zone. They get the puck back to the point. There's a good deflection. Good position in front there by Carlson. Gets a little piece of it. And then Manson earlier than on the play, coming up late, gets a terrific hard shot on Jonathan Quick, and Quick fights it off.
Now Manson back to get it. Hands it off for Jackman, who sends it back deep into the LA zone. Martinez takes a hit there from Maroon, number 19. Maroon tries to send it back out, and it eventually is held in at the line by Manson, who sends it to the far side. Jackman and McBain come together there. Now Jared Stoll trying to tie up his man. Martinez gets to it. Missed King. It's held in at the line. The Manson shot stopped by Quick. And Stoll was tied up there with Nate Thompson. They continue to battle. Thompson turns it back toward the LA goal with a shot that was blocked. It looked like by McBain. Now Thompson again. Here's Maroon. Pressured by Stoll. Now sends it along the end boards. Thompson couldn't get to it.
Anaheim defense really aggressive. Both guys pinching down the wall.
Comes back out to Watson, and number 45 sends it toward the net. Skipped it just wide. Now Maroon continues to battle there. Crowd wanted a penalty on Trevor Lewis, but the official just letting him play. Chris Lee and Dave Jackson are two referees tonight. Now Lewis tries to hand it off. That was anticipated nicely by Hampus Lindholm. And Lindholm, number 47, comes up with it. Hands it off now for Edom. Southern California-born kid who's got great speed. Clifford steps into him. Now Smith Kelly with it. Holds it back in deep behind Jonathan Quick. It'll be chased down. Moved quickly by Muzzin for Richards. Tries to slide it out of the zone. It was blocked. Second effort. And finally it comes into the Anaheim zone, but Vatanen able to hand it off. And it comes rink wide and deflects off Edom back into the LA zone.
Anaheim gets LA in trouble when they can forecheck like they have the last couple of shifts. LA gets Anaheim in trouble in the neutral zone. They turn pucks over and go the other way quickly.
Getzlaf waits patiently, lobs it in toward Quick. He decides to cover up. 8.5 gone by in the first, scoreless in Anaheim. Let's go inside the glass. Presented by Progressive Insurance. Here's Brian.
The pace of the game has been terrific, but the hitting has been really big along the walls, especially by the D on both teams. But the approach started off with the check. Pearson making a big hit on Stoner. Then Stoner comes back, takes another one. LA in the early shifts were pretty physical in the corners, and then Anaheim was able to turn that around. The last 3 or 4 shifts for Anaheim good because of body contact in the LA zone.
The Ducks have had the last 9 shots on goal after that initial push by Los Angeles as Kessler puts it up on the glass. Did it go out of play? It was played with a high stick. So LA hasn't had a shot on goal since the 1:10 mark of this first period. And we have our first little gathering, the first of many, I'm sure.
Matt Bolesky in the middle of it there has had a terrific start to the season. He's got 7 goals already. He had 9 all last year and 8 the year before. His career high in a season is 11, but he's had opportunity. I talked to him this morning. He said, yeah, we've been banged up. We've had some of our key guys out. I played up and down the lineup at different combinations, and just going to the net, having a little confidence now really helps.
He missed the end of that series last year between these two teams. He took a hard hit from Dustin Brown and was knocked out of the series and returned home to get some medical attention and actually watched the game from his home outside of Toronto. As this will be an icing here against Los Angeles, and Bolesky said that was as tough as being there, not being able to do anything about it.
Well, one of the guys they acquired in the offseason is that guy, Ryan Kessler. One of the big reasons, because every team in the league looked at LA winning the cup and went, what are their strengths? Yeah, they're good defensively, good goaltending, but they have great centers. Anaheim knew they had to get another stud center. That guy is a stud center.
Great on face-offs. He can be a power play guy.
He takes a lot of pressure off of Getzlaf and face-offs, and Getzlaf had to take a lot of tired face-offs in the playoffs.
Here is Vatanen now, aggressive as he likes to be. Molesky sends it back down. Silfverberg is there. So's Kessler. Puck comes free, and it's Justin Williams, and Williams slides it ahead for Gaborik. Gaborik across for Kopitar. Burst to speed. He's in. He gets hooked. What's the call?
Penalty shot all day.
Penalty shot.
Yeah, there's no doubt. He was in clean there. Vatanen was too late in reacting. He often does that. He'll watch the puck. He wasn't watching Kopitar. The most dangerous guy in the National Hockey League on the attack is the fastest player, because he's going to end up with the puck. And Kopitar ended up with the puck. Vatanen didn't react quickly enough, and he had to hook him. That's a good call.
The 10th penalty shot in the National Hockey League this season. The shooters have converted 2 of the first 9. This is the second involving the LA Kings. Kopitar against Anderson. He scores!
Boy, he made that one look easy. When you make a move 5-hole and it goes in, it looks brilliant. Sometimes you try to get the goaltender to open up, you make that play, and you look like you just gave up on the shot. But Kopitar fakes it, opens Anderson up, and just slides calmly through the 5-hole. So Anaheim's going to have to be careful about these types of situations. Kopitar created that penalty shot by being fast up the middle. The defenseman in Anaheim must pay better attention in the neutral zone on the attack.
4th goal of the season for Anze Kopitar. And just his 6th point, we mentioned right at the top, he's gotten off to a slow start. But he is a terrific talent.
Yeah, he hasn't been 100%. He's been hurting almost since the beginning of the year. He's just starting to play his way back in. That's why Daryl Sutter said we get our number 1 line going along with the Carter line, we should be in good shape offensively.
Now played up the near boards by the Kings. Ducks get a stick out, picked up in front of John. Here to save by Quick. That was Edom that had a terrific opportunity, and now at the side of the net, the puck is covered just as the official signals a penalty coming on Los Angeles. So the Ducks will have a power play to try to get even. They are down because of that man, Anze Kopitar, with the penalty shot goal.
Coach, you're down 1-0 on this penalty shot. What do you see happening so far?
Well, I think we're playing pretty good. I mean, everything but the outcome so far is good. I think we're getting it deep, but we just got to watch. Every time they get a chance, they're bringing that 4th guy up, and they come up the middle with speed. And if we can contain that, I think we'll be okay.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks.
And because of Matt Green being in the box, Bruce Boudreau's Ducks will go on the first power play of this game. The power play presented by Craftsman. Anaheim, 12th in the National Hockey League, coming in at just under 21%. But Brian, we should note, LA, 12th in terms of penalty kill percentage, but they have scored a league best 4 shorthanded goals. And Toffoli, the main guy with 3 of them.
They've got size, they've got speed, and they seize their opportunities, even shorthanded.
Vatanen sends it behind the net. Now it comes back to number 45. He wheels it along the boards in deep. Devontae Smith-Pelly, number 12, being worked over by Doughty. Doughty getting some help from Muzzin, but there's Kessler to support. And it's chopped away here by Trevor Lewis and all the way down the ice.
2 aggressive shooters on the point. Ryan Getzlaf's got a bomb when he wants to shoot, and Vatanen loves to pull the trigger from the back. He loves to bring the puck up the ice when he can, too. Keep an eye on 45 for Anaheim.
Then in deep and coming out to play it was Quick. Martinez plays it up the far side. Vatanen able to hold it in for Anaheim. Diagonal pass comes to Getzlaf. Wrist shot here. And hit a body in front. And as Quick was looking for it, it was Braden McNabb for Los Angeles able to send it down the ice.
Smart shot by Getzlaf. There was traffic in front. Devontae Smith-Pelly was right there. He couldn't get a piece of it, and Quick did.
Now Lindholm for the Anaheim power play. Sends it deep. Silfverberg is in there, but it's taken over by Muzzin. Backhands it up the wall. Doesn't come out. Then back along by Lindholm. Here's Silfverberg with it. Now the Ducks spread it out on the power play. Boy, this is one area they really miss Corey Perry, number 10. Now at the side of the net. Let's work it out to the half wall, top of the circle. Getzlaf nearly had it knocked away by Dwight King. Now Maroon sends it back to the line. Shot here, deflected just wide. Now Lindholm. Getzlaf to the corner with it. Back for Ryan Getzlaf. And the LA fans again getting the Go Kings Go chant, immediately drowned out.
Good penalty kill there by the Kings. So they had tight box in the middle. They gave some room in the corners and along the outside to Anaheim. But as soon as they got in the middle, it was tough to get any shot away.
Carlson, look out. He just got his head up in time as McNabb came at him. And out of the box comes Green. A shot here. Deflected away by Quick. And I'm keeping the pressure on despite the fact the power play is over. Not credited with a single shot on goal during that power play. Now Silfverberg hands it off. Patrick Maroon trying to use that big body of his, knocked away by Carter. Slapped at though by Silfverberg, kept deep in the Los Angeles zone. Now along the wall, it is cleared back out and chased down by the smooth skating Cam Fowler. Number 4 here for Anaheim, hands it off. Up near the benches, both teams looking to make a change, and Drew Doughty will chase it down with 7:15 remaining here in the first period. Los Angeles with a 1-0 lead on the penalty shot goal by Anze Kopitar. Gabbard tries to play it ahead, but it's broken up in the neutral zone, and now Jackman plays it back into the LA zone. Immediately, Doughty is on it. Sends it across. Here comes a hit from Nate Thompson. Now Thompson hands it off for Jackman. He turns, looks back toward the line, but hit a skate, and the Kings come away with it. Williams for Gabbard. Now Stoner battling with Williams. Stoner lost his stick in the exchange, but quickly gets it back. And now the former Minnesota Wild defenseman will just find an opening and send it down the ice. It will go wide of the net and will be icing.
Well, Jonathan Quick came into this game tied for 3rd in save percentage because of saves like this. That was a tough one to handle from a bad angle, but he's an extremely aggressive goaltender. The most flexible and agile goaltender for my money in the National Hockey League. He needs support on the backside because he will challenge the shooter so much. But his defensemen and his back-checking forwards are aware of that, so they make sure they cover up for him on the backside and let him do his thing.
8 times already this season, given up 2 goals or less, and just 1 goal in each of the last 3 for Los Angeles.
5 teams in the league with less than 2.0 goals against average, David. We have 2 of the 5 teams right here.
Look out, a near giveaway. It is picked up finally by McNabb, but good recovery by Anaheim. It's knocked back into the LA zone.
You know, that was Brian Allen going back to the puck, and he passed it in front of his own net, but Kessler just never expected that. It went right between his feet and turned out to be a dangerous play.
Now Vatanen hands it off. And waiting now is Allen to play it ahead for Kessler. Ryan Kessler with it. Green being very aggressive on him. Now picked up by Valesky. Out of the corner with it. Spins away from Richards. And Valesky wheels and sends it back in deep, looking for Kessler. He and Green continue to battle. Now Silfverberg with it. Back toward the front of the net. Hit the skate of Green, and the Kings able to get it out to center ice. Dwight King. Justin Brown kicks it up to a stick, but Richards offside on the play. We step away with Los Angeles leading 1-0. Coming games, NHL Network tomorrow. Colorado needs a bounce-back game. They're in Madison Square Garden to take on the Rangers, who just had a bounce-back game. Brian and I will be in Buffalo Tuesday night here on NBCSN for the Sharks and the Sabres. And Wednesday night rivalry next Wednesday night. Always a good one. Philadelphia and the Rangers. 7 Eastern right here on NBCSN. 1-0. Anze Kopitar with the penalty shot goal, beating Frederik Andersen. The shots on goal are 10-3 favoring Anaheim. Again, the Kings, not counting the penalty shot, have not had a shot on goal since the 1:10 mark of this first period as this puck deflected out of play.
And did Cogliano ever get hit hard by Muzzin? The bench here in Anaheim was calling for an interference call there because it looked like it was before he had touched the puck.
Yeah. Good. Yes, it
the
was.
puck was still coming around the wall, and Muzzin, who was much bigger than Cogliano, one of the smaller players, Cogliano saw him and tried to brace himself, but he definitely got the worst of that. He got hit twice, once by Muzzin and once by the boards, but there was no call on the play.
So now it'll be Kessler and Carter on those face-off of the LA zone. Kessler wins it cleanly, but Pearson battles hard to get the puck. Then Anaheim gets it right back. Now out near the line, the Ducks. Lindholm sends it around on the near side. Martinez trying to clear. Pearson got it to the line, held in, no by Hanson. A shot bumps off the left pad of Quick. Now Kessler able to win a physical battle there. Now Martinez comes right back at him. They continue to battle. Brian, I know you like teams and you talk about teams that when they lose the puck, they try very hard to get it back right away. We're watching two teams that don't like it when they lose the puck, and they both want to get it back.
Yeah, I think that's today's NHL. If you turn it over in the offensive zone, some teams would retreat and get back into formation, if you will, so you can defend. Good teams now, as soon as you turn it over, boom, turn right back around and take it back.
Gabrick came off the bench, almost timed it perfectly to intercept, but it's back the other way for Anaheim now. Lindholm hands it off for Getzlaf, who spins off a check, trying to get it in front. Smith-Pelly with it now, knocked away by Kopitar with a long reach, but Smith-Pelly again. Sends it back along the board. Getzlaf, Edom. Smith-Pelly with it. Kopitar lifts the stick. Now Justin Williams did not get it out, and a penalty coming. It's going to go against Muzzin. And Quick was screened on a shot that goes wide, and Anaheim is going to have another power play opportunity.
Well, Anaheim got LA running around inside their zone because their rotations on the forecheck are really good. They're in position all the time. You can see Muzzin was on the backside there. He tried to pull his stick out at the last second, but it's still a good call. But Anaheim's, after probably the first 3 or 4 shifts of the game, Anaheim got their game going. They're cycled really good. They have 2 guys down low, but they always have a 3rd guy high, which you have to be responsible. They rotate well, and they had LA on the run there, drawing the penalty.
Power play presented by Craftsman for Anaheim. As the Kings control the draw, Trevor Lewis now able to get to it and sends it back into the Anaheim zone. The Ducks unsuccessful on their first power play, did not get credit for a shot on goal, although they did have some pressure on Jonathan Quick as this puck is deflected deep into the LA zone. Ducks get to it. Green tying his man up. That's Patrick Maroon. Now Silverberg back to the line. Rink wide for Fowler. Fowler hands it off. Carlson, who had both of his goals early in the season in Buffalo. As this puck is picked off and cleared by Stoll all the way down the ice.
Jarrett Stoll is one of the best penalty killers in the game. He sees the game, he reads what the puck carrier wants to do, and he cuts off so many passes just like he did there.
Now Getzlaf with it. Hands it off for Kessler. Collision there with Richards. And that allows McNabb to step up and send it down the ice. Vatanen again hands it off. Getzlaf, rink wide Kessler. Good job to control it and stay outside as Bolesky now rolls it along for Smith-Pelly, knocked away by McNabb. Now chased down by Kessler, tries to backhand it to the point. Bolesky able to get to it. Good stick there by Mike Richards, but the Ducks still get it back to the front. It's hit here. And a save by Quick, or did it hit the side of the net, but a bang-bang play. And Smith-Pelly had a great opportunity.
He's a great net front presence. He moves the puck really well, but he didn't have much room to work with. Smith-Pelly didn't.
Now here he is again. McNabb trying to get to it. Bolesky, as he was falling, finds Smith-Pelly. Back to Bolesky, and a save by Quick on a bang-bang play just to the side of the LA goal.
Really good effective puck movement by the Anaheim power play here. Using the corners again, playing with it down deep. Out top, and then they moved it down, and then Smith-Pelly's net front presence gave him the first chance. Then they rotated off to the side. There's Smith-Pelly all alone in front. Boy, that's a good, clean move, and really well read by Jonathan Quick, who, for my money, has the quickest legs in the National Hockey League.
Yeah, his left skate was so quick there. I had a good angle on it, Brad, but I couldn't tell whether he got the puck or whether it did hit off the side of the net, but indeed, save.
And trying to find the puck through traffic is one of the biggest problems any goaltender has. Here's the last sequence, and plays from behind the net that come out quickly in front. Those are a real headache for Quick as well, and he makes that save.
LA wins the draw. Final seconds of the Muzzin penalty ticking off as he stands up and gets ready to rejoin his teammates. So the Kings 2 for 2 on the penalty kill, as Anaheim had 2 shots and a couple of great opportunities. Jackman with a hit on Kopitar, tried to get it out in front, hit off the side of the net. LA gets it to center ice. Here's Carter trying to get around Manson. A backhand shot. Anderson the save, and the rebound goes wide. Here's Marian Gaborik with it as they announce less than a minute remaining in this first period. Manson hit by Kopitar. Now a pass comes to Muzzin with a shot. Put up too high off the glass. Doughty gets to it. Hammers and scores! Drew Doughty! It's 2-0 LA.
After having spent very little time in the Anaheim zone over the last several shifts, a shock to the system for Los Angeles. Top of your screen, Doughty just wheels and fires, but you can see the difference maker is Gaborik in front of the net. I was looking right over Doughty's shoulder when he took the shot. He had the top shelf short side labeled all the way. That's how this play first started. Puck comes off the wall after Muzzin shot it over the net, but Gaborik was right in Anderson's face. Anderson couldn't pick it up on time. He peeked around Gaborik just at the last second, but the puck was already sailing over his shoulder. A homing device shot by Drew Doughty.
As you see, his first of the season, and again, that's the first shot on goal for Los Angeles, other than the penalty shot, since the 1:10 mark of the first period.
And they've had 5 or 6 dangerous plays offensively, most of them early in the game. They've been defending, killing off a couple of penalties, and having to they were, I think, maybe taking a look to make sure maybe it wasn't a high stick or anything. I didn't know if Gaborik touched that one or not at first. I didn't think so, but I assume they were conferring on that shot from Doughty.
Actually, to be correct, their second shot since the 101 mark, because that's just their 5th of this period, counting the penalty shot. So a lot of time spent in the LA zone, a couple of power plays for Anaheim, a lot of things you would look at, as Bruce Boudreau said to you, Brian, during your bench interview, that have gone right for Anaheim, except the score is 2-0 Los Angeles, as we get an icing here against the Ducks.
And you got to hand it to LA. I mean, they've withstood the charge. They're the visiting team. They know what Anaheim does and what they do well. They kept Anaheim to the outside for the most part. There were a couple of power plays, of course, and there was a chance. Smith Pelly had the best one right on the doorstep and a couple of tips, but the Kings kill penalties very effectively, and they are still the most calm team in the league. I haven't seen a team like theirs in a long time. Nothing bothers these guys.
Green sends it in wide of Frederik Andersen. Inside 20 seconds remaining in the period. Gaborik couldn't get it to the net. Kopitar was knocked down in front of the Anaheim goal as the puck comes back center ice.
Yeah, Kopitar was slowly backing up through the crease there, and Anderson had his stick and his leg there. He's protecting his area. Kopitar went down pretty hard there. No harm, no foul. A little bit of a smile almost there from Kopitar. Andrei Kopitar, one of the best two-way centers in the National Hockey League. Oh, he did get a little bit of a bump there. Clayton Stoner bumped him a little, and Anderson's like, hey, I didn't do anything.
Had a chance to catch Wayne Gretzky's interview with George Stroumboulopoulos on Hockey Night in Canada last weekend, and Gretzky's been very complimentary of Kopitar, but he repeated he believes he's the 3rd best player in the league behind only Crosby and Taves, and that's pretty high praise coming from the great one. And that'll end this first period. Down to the Quick Perfect in period number 1. The Lexus Intermission Report. Liam, JR, and Keith will talk about the Kings and the Ducks. Yes, hitting early. And Phil Kessel, the former Boston Bruin, now with the Leafs, burns the Bruins that in the first game of our Wednesday night rivalry doubleheader here on NBCSN. A terrific start to this game. It's LA with a 2-0 lead. The Lexus Intermission Report on the other side of this. The NHL on NBCSN is brought to you by Lexus, introducing the first ever 306 horsepower RC Coupe from Lexus. Welcome back. Honda Center here in Anaheim, and the home team played about as well as you can play and still looking up, down 2-0. Did get an update from Anaheim PR during the first intermission on Corey Perry, Francois Beauchemin, both officially now with the mumps. That's what it was, a viral case of the mumps in both cases. Both players now day-to-day, and according to Anaheim PR, Corey Perry no longer contagious, can come back at any time, and very close to that apparently with Francois Beauchemin. So
it's great news for Anaheim. 11 goals on the season for Corey Perry already. He hasn't been around the team for 8 days, but he's been very sick in the hospital. He won't be back in just a day or two. He's going to have to practice for a bit.
Williams hands it off, a chance here up high on Anderson. He's able to fight it off with the right shoulder. You heard the guys in the studio talking about this Kopitar, Gaborik, and Williams line getting it going back to their last game against Vancouver.
And that wraparound by Kopitar almost went in too, by another great start to the second period for LA.
Smith-Pelly with a big hit on Williams. Now Edom tries to spin away from Muzzin. Williams gets to it though for Los Angeles. Number 14 will skate it back the other way. Hands it off to Doughty. And we've been told, and Brian, you got it right from the horse's mouth, as this puck deflects off the side of the net, that Marian Gaborik did not deflect that Drew Doughty shot, so it will be Doughty's first of the season.
Yeah, I asked Drew Doughty right before the face-off this second period, was it deflected? He went no.
Here's Doughty with it, and with that goal officially going to Drew Doughty, we mentioned his first and just the fourth for this Los Angeles defense. Tyler Toffoli eats it across center ice, hands it off on the far side. Pearson back for Toffoli, backhands it wide in front of Anderson. Carter pushes it along. Covered now by Clayton Stoner, and he'll backhand it over the outstretched glove of Tanner Pearson, but in the neutral zone, the Kings get it back inside the Anaheim line, and the Ducks counter back the other way. Kessler just misconnecting there with Silfverberg, and it's picked up on the far side by Dwight King. Oleski stepping into him, but the Kings have control of it now as Matt Green out of his own zone. Wristing in along behind Anderson to the far side. Manson able to dig it out of there, goes out of play. Did it go cleanly out of play? The officials
conferring.
They're going to talk it over here, Brian. Yep.
That was a close play. It was difficult for me to see from this angle on the near side. And you can see all four officials are going to go in and give their opinion as to whether or not it'll be a penalty.
The officials are making their way towards center ice, I think, to get a little bit away from the input from the players that they don't need. So the question is, I believe it was Josh Manson, the rookie number 42. Let's see if we can tell here. He pulls it out, Brian, and well, it's hard to tell if anybody else got in there, but
yeah, Dustin Brown was skating through it. Did he get there's no way to know if that was deflected.
Yep,
looks like it is a penalty.
Yeah, it's a penalty.
Trying to use the glass as the right play under the circumstance. It was Manson who fished the puck out, tried to use the high glass and get it out of the zone. 42, he'll come in and fish it out. Maybe this one will show us, but it appears he shoots it cleanly. And see, when Dustin Brown's stick came in and swept through the same motion, really difficult to tell. Well, boy, when you look at that, it looked to me like it was Brown's stick that was in there as well, too, but it doesn't matter at this point. They did call it a penalty.
Talking to Bruce Boudreau about this young man Manson, he said, boy, just a little thing, but early in the season he had one of these penalties where he lifted the puck into the seats out of play, and he said we killed it off, and he said the kid wasn't affected at all, got right back into the play, and he said just the thing as a coach is this puck is cleared back into the LA zone that you pick up on, Brian, that a young defenseman makes a mistake like that, and it didn't rattle him.
Yeah, with no Lovejoy, no Fistrick, no Beauchemin, Manson gets a chance.
Carter's shot was deflected. It's picked up now by Vatanen. Will he look to go with it? Yes, he will. Short-handed into the LA zone. Hands it off. A shot goes wide of Quick. Now Kessler. Carter steps into him, and Kessler gives him a little jab with the stick, acknowledging the contact. Now Silfverberg on a turnover. Waits. Through the legs nicely to Cogliano. Backhand shot on the pad, saved by Jonathan Quick.
Jakob Silfverberg's got some really good moves. He's known more for his defensive play and protecting the puck. That was a cute little play there.
Now Doughty plays it ahead to Foley. Backhands it along into the Anaheim zone. 3 minutes gone by here in the second period. 2-0 Los Angeles, and working on the power play, but a team short-handed. Cogliano closing in for a shot. That was played well by Doughty.
The puck flipped up on Cogliano right at the last second, too, so he couldn't get the precise shot that he wanted.
Now Doughty across the line. Going to buy some time, wristing it along behind Anderson to the far side for Williams. 2 Anaheim penalty killers are there. Bolesky and Thompson, and Nate Thompson will work it back out to center ice. Muzzin. Now for the captain, Dustin Brown, on the far side for Williams. Williams sends it across. Richards tees it up. Couldn't pull the trigger on the shot. Comes back to Muzzin. Good hustle by number 6. Now Muzzin closing in for a shot, deflected away by Anderson, who falls backwards and knocks the net off.
Let's go back to that 2-on-1 situation. Short-handed. Cogliano looking into the middle, realizes right here that he can't do anything about the play. See how the puck flipped up? Right as he went to pull the trigger, it just fluttered a little bit. That takes the precision out of your shot. You don't know exactly what you're going to get. But Doughty did a terrific job there. If Cogliano hadn't passed the puck immediately after he crossed the blue line, he really had no other chance from there on in, because Doughty took that pass away and forced Cogliano to shoot from that angle. Oh, the Richards just got that in the back of the head.
Yeah, oh, he is shaken up. He is going to go right to the bench. And he is going to walk right down the tunnel. He is struggling a little bit.
I'm surprised he could get up that quickly after getting hit in the head like that.
Here is Getzlaf with it. Sends it to the front of the net. It's blocked. Comes right back to Getzlaf. Hands it off now. And it's out here by Vatanen. Quick is screened. And it's back the other way. Vatanen will tee it up again. A high stick. Knocked down in front of Seth, just wide on the glove side, and Quick. And backhanded out to center right.
Yeah, I don't think Quick had to make either save. I know Martinez made the first one. I think Green made the second.
Brown with a shot. Changes direction. Goes up high. Over the top of the Anaheim goal, and right back comes Emerson Edom. Edom goes wide. Slowed down a bit there by a stick, but no indication of a penalty coming. Now Clifford slides it across. Muzzin fumbles it off the boards. Josh Manson back out there, having served his delay of game penalty. Mentioned he's the son of Dave Manson, who's an assistant coach with Prince Albert in the Western Hockey League, the former tough guy. Now a puck picked up by Lewis. He cuts in. Anderson the save. He looked around. He wasn't sure he had it, but the Ducks able to clear.
Lewis with a good scoring chance, because the pass was sort of bouncing through the neutral zone. Anaheim fanned on it a couple of times, went right to Lewis.
Now Lindholm plays it ahead. Raquel can't play it cleanly. Doughty will start it back the other way. Drew Doughty across the line. Goes to the outside. Lindholm just got a piece of the puck. Now here's Lewis with it. Carlson steps into him. And William Carlson hands it off, and the Ducks look to come out. Carter snuck up there, nearly took it away, but Josh Manson recovers and slides it across, and Lindholm will skate it out to center ice. Backhands it ahead. And the Kings making it difficult for Anaheim to skate it into the LA zone.
That's that neutral zone play again by the Kings. They're really good in that area.
Now to Foley. McNabb just avoided a Jackman hit, as a wrist shot here is just wide. Foley sends it back in. Around the boards on the far side, it bounces out to center ice, and McBain got over there and sends it back in behind the Anaheim goal. 2-0 Kings. Kopitar on a penalty shot. Doughty in the last minute of the first period. The 2 goal scorers for Los Angeles, as Quick covers up. You're watching Wednesday Night Rivalry presented by Coors Light, as Trevor Lewis comes close to making it 3-zip.
Mike Richards is number 10 white. Let's see what happened on the injury. See, Vatanen just wants to get the puck out of the zone. He takes a slap shot, and Richards had turned his back. He knew the shot was coming. It looked like to me it hit him at the base of the helmet, right behind the ear, but he was able to go up. He get up right away, but he did go right to the locker room. I haven't seen him on the bench yet.
Kings able to clear this puck back into the Anaheim zone. Racing after it is Stoner, but Anderson, the goaltender, decides to cover up. Formula One's last stop, Abu Dhabi. A king will be crowned in the desert. Nico Rosberg and Lewis Hamilton race for the World Championship at the Etihad Airways Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, Sunday, November 23rd, right here on NBC SN. The Kings, with some help from Dustin Brown, win that draw. Now King, Brown, and Stoll going to work deep in the Anaheim zone. Brown out from below the goal line turn. Dustin Brown with just 2 goals, no assists all season. And here comes a 2-on-1 from center ice. A chance here for the Ducks. Quick to save, rebound. It's loose out in front of him. He looked behind him, but it stayed out in front of him above the blue paint. Another chance here. Score! Off the post and in. Cam Fowler.
Daryl Sutter was giving a chance to his third D pair, McNabb and McBain. But McNabb got caught up on the play. McBain did a stellar job of sliding across and taking away the initial chance. But then scramble mode ensued for the LA Kings, and Fowler moved up on the play. His shot from the top of the circle goes in the top shelf on the short side. You see the heads-up shot, and I think it was McNabb who ended up screening his goaltender at the last second, too, trying to get back in position. I'm not sure that he could help quick, and that was a terrific shot by Fowler.
Fowler's second goal of the season, and the 7th from the Ducks defense so far this year. Raquel and Cogliano getting the assist, so it was Carlson and Cogliano that had that 2-on-1. And now Justin Williams plays it back into the Anaheim zone. The Ducks get a stick on him, and here's Justin Williams recovering for LA. Hands it off for Kopitar. Kopitar looks to the front. Good defensive play made there by Kessler, and he'll just send it back the other way. Doughty under some pressure. Moves it around right wing side. Williamson. The crowd reacts to Doughty taking a big hit after he released the puck.
Boy, Doughty just barely got out of the way of that one, but it did really spin him around. Bolesky was really after him.
Now gets up, hands it off for a shot here. Deflects in the air and quick. Always with his eyes on the puck, able to make the grab.
Nice play off the rush by Anaheim. Getzlaf with the puck, working with Bolesky. Nice move by Bolesky to hang on to it, and then Getzlaf, who's so good in traffic, just reverses the play back between his legs, and a good hit by Smith-Pelly. And there's the hit I was talking about. Bolesky, after Doughty had sent the puck around the wall, just saw him come at the last second, really got spun around.
Mike Richards, we're told, back on the Los Angeles bench. That is good news for him and his teammates as Getzlaf now in the neutral zone. Gets it across. Smith-Pelly got back to get onside. Tries to wheel it to the front. Edom was there. Quick down now. It's set wide by Smith-Pelly again. Boy, the Ducks are charging now after getting that goal to cut the LA lead in half. Edom turns it back the other way. Chips it ahead. Getzlaf wanted to go back to the trailer. Lindholm. It didn't make it through, and now Matt Green able to clear it for Los Angeles. Manson will dump it right back into the LA zone. King sent it back into the Anaheim end. Manson trying to tie up Trevor Lewis. Now Manson up from the side of the net, backhands it across. And center ice. Jackson sends it deep, goes in on the forecheck. Here's McNabb with it, turns it back. Now it's sent out to center ice. Nice job by Lewis to knock the puck down. And now score! Oh, I thought it was in Anderson's glove, and I think Anderson thought he had it in his glove. But it beats the Duck goaltender. It is 3-1.
He just plain whiffed on it. That was it's just not supposed to happen. It might have been a little bit deflected, but I mean, he's right out at the blue line, Lewis is. It's not a clean shot. It is fluttering a little bit, but Anderson's in good position. He's right out on the edge of the crease. He just plain whiffed on it. Maybe the fluttering action on the puck just fooled him a little bit. But we're going to get a goalie change.
Well, Jason LaBarbera is coming in right away for Anderson, who you see walks right down to the locker room, doesn't even pause for a moment at the bench.
Boy, Bruce Boudreau not messing around here. Down 3-1 now. Didn't like that easy goal, and obviously it was an easy goal. Those are simply not supposed to go in. It's as if Anderson sort of waved at it, and his glove was in a down motion instead of letting the puck come to him, and it just plain beat him when it shouldn't.
Boy, Jason LaBarbera, quite a story coming up from the American Hockey League a couple of weekends ago. He had played back-to-back nights, which happens often in the American League, as we're going to get an icing here. He won for his team on Friday night, again on Saturday, and was getting ready for the team's Halloween party when he got a call, Brian, come to Denver. We need you to back up John Gibson because Anderson was injured. Gibson gets hurt in the warm-up, so LaBarbera has to come in. He gives up a goal a couple of minutes in, but he calms down, he recovers, and he gets the win for his team. He played 3 games in 3 nights in 2 different leagues and won them all. Not a bad weekend. LA with some pressure here right away on LaBarbera. Now it comes back to the line. McBain had to send it back in front, and it deflects to the far corner, and it's back out to center ice. It'll be backhanded by Stoner into the LA zone. Now the Ducks, let's see how they respond. They were playing so well. Cut the lead in half, and then to see a puck go in that way. Especially the way the other team's goaltender's playing here, Brian.
Jonathan Quick has been stellar for sure. And when you match up the 2 best save percentage goalies in the league, Quick with a huge advantage in this one.
Now behind the net, Maroon trying to make something happen, but a centering pass picked off by McNabb. He couldn't clear it. Past Brian Allen back at the point. Now Maroon and Jackman, the 2 big bodies working down low for Anaheim. Just past the halfway mark of this second period. The Ducks again down by 2 to their rivals from Los Angeles. Puck knocked away. McBain plays it ahead. Richards, he's going to catch up with his puck. Richards will drive, and he missed it on the glove side.
There was room on that glove side, too. He shot it so hard he lost control of it. Good play by the Kings coming out of their zone, though, because Richards had a step on the defense of Anaheim, and he was able to use it to his advantage, push the puck ahead, and just hammered it on that one-timer.
We will step away. It is 3-1 Los Angeles.
Coach, you're up 3-1 in this game. What's your assessment of what you've seen so far?
I think the first period was a really good pace. Obviously, the penalty shot goal is a big goal for us. A lot of their chances in the first period came in the forecheck and scrambles around the net. Second period, scored a little bit of a fluky goal. Hopefully it changes the momentum a little bit. They've been coming at us pretty hard.
Thanks, Coach.
Yeah.
They have been coming at them pretty hard. They've withstood it, though, because of big saves by Jonathan Quick and just being calm under pressure, which is part of LA's MO.
And Los Angeles, with that last goal by Trevor Lewis, has forced the goaltending change as the veteran Jason LaBarbera, signed as a free agent in July, has replaced Anderson after giving up that soft goal. It has given LA a 2-goal advantage. As Doughty angles it off the end boards. Muzzin hands it off on the far side. Gabbert, and it knocked away momentarily, but he recovered to play it. The Kopitar now for Doughty across the line. On the far side, Gabbert tries to drop it back. Williams with a chance here. Togre, saved by LaBarbera. Boy, that's a good stop by Jason LaBarbera on a difficult rush into the offensive zone, and Williams very crafty in changing the angle.
Yeah, it's not like you get a warm-up when you come in the middle of the game. It's a great save, LaBarbera.
Back the other way, a chance here, score! Silverberg makes it 3-2.
That's a 2-goal swing. First the save by LaBarbera, and then a terrific shot by Silverberg. Silverberg fooled Jonathan Quick on this. Watch Quick react. He reacts late. There's hardly any room on this short side. I mean, just a couple of inches over the shoulder on the short side. Quick was guessing far side. Watch him flinch. See him flinch with the stick hand side, and then, oh, he beat me short side. That was a perfect shot by Silverberg.
First of the season for Jakob Silverberg. Ducks again within 1, and this play just offside at the LA line.
Well, Jason LaBarbera's done his job so far for sure. That's why I call it a 2-goal swing, because LA's chance before that was simply outstanding, and LaBarbera hadn't had any looks yet at all. On the rush again, doing a really good job. The left side of your screen is where the chance is going to come from. Here comes Williams, holds on. LaBarbera comes out and challenges above the paint and makes a big save. Anaheim goes down and scores.
And a great look at it from our Hyundai RoboCam. As the puck rolls along behind LaBarbera, yes, it will be icing against Los Angeles. Well, Jason LaBarbera getting an opportunity here.
Well, Daryl Sutter talked about momentum swings, and this is a big momentum swing. LaBarbera coming in, he's been through a lot in his career. He's a very experienced guy. He's been through the minor leagues, came up. You described the situation, Dave, when he first came up. Now Daryl Sutter's guys have to deal with a momentum swing in favor of Anaheim.
Well, the face-off here in the LA zone. 3-2 Los Angeles with a 1-goal lead. Getzlaf able to work it along now for Maroon. Patrick Maroon looks to the front. Angles it off the end boards. Edom with it now. Well, Bruce Boudreau changing things up a little bit with his line combinations. Slapped away on the far side. Edom chases it down. Back to the line. Swept to the net, but goes in wide. All the way to the near corner. Ducks get to it first. Here is Getzlaf out of the corner. Passes it across. What a pass. That hit the goal post. What a pass by Getzlaf.
An incredible touch there. Went between Quick's legs on the shot by Maroon.
Edom, the wraparound. Quick had it, then he lost it. Getzlaf with it again. Makes a move there on Jeff Carter. Getzlaf angles it off the board. Backhand shot save. Loose puck cleared by Martinez, but not out. What pressure by Anaheim now in the LA zone. Shot blocked by Martinez. Edom with it again. Back to Ryan Getzlaf. On the boards, Clifford couldn't get it out. Now the Kings will get it to the near side. And Toffoli will tip it back. Look out here. Fowler got turned around, but boy, did he recover quickly. As Edom tries to hit Carlson, who eventually carries into the LA zone. Carlson with a shot off the glove. Up quick to the far side. Clifford lifts it up the far boards. And it finally comes out to center ice. Cagliano has it there. Tries to get control.
Oh, talk about momentum. Anaheim really building on that goal that they just scored. Some terrific work down low again. Their MO cycling in the corner, and then big plays by Getzlaf.
Advantage in shots, advantage in chances for Anaheim, but the advantage on the scoreboard for now still belongs to Los Angeles. Stoll plays it ahead, blocked by Carlson. Right back for Cagliano on the attack. Cagliano closes in, save, rebound, Tim! Oh, quick! What a save he makes on the rebound! Oh,
he actually got that? That is incredible. That looked like it was going in. There's no way anybody could physically make a save on a play like this. Quick ends up on his belly, and he did it. Pass by Ryan Getzlaf on his backhand, feathers it right on the far side to Maroon, who steps out from behind the net. The scissor kick by Quick is not correct. He misses it, but it hits the goalpost.
And a hand pass ruled here, although the Ducks don't agree with that. And Brian, you talk about that Getzlaf pass as players get together here. Interesting when Bruce Boudreau was asked this morning about Emerson Edom getting a chance to play with Ryan Getzlaf. He says, look, Edom's been an offensive player wherever he's played. He said, let's see how he does with the best passer in the league. That's how he described him. Hard to argue with a play like that. That is terrific.
And how tough to defend. You could see that he was looking at Maroon and saying, I'm going to pass it to the open spot. Be smart enough to go there. There's the last save before we went to break by Quick, too, doing a snow angel at the end of it. What a save that was.
Now Allen puts it up high on the boards behind Quick around on the far side. Kessler gets to it, jams it to the front, goes off of King.
Howdy blocked that line.
Yes.
Couldn't find the handle, but he kneeled down at the right time and blocked it.
Here's LaBarbera. Hands it off on the near side. Allen goes back. Dwight King as LA looking to spend some time in the offensive zone. They've been outshot 26-11 now here in this game. Doughty. Nick Richards gets to it, plays it up the far side, deflects out to center ice. Vatanen hammers it and broke the stick, and the puck didn't get deep, and now he has to defend the run without a stick. Now it comes back out high. Braden McNabb didn't have the shot. Now he tries to get it away. It's blocked by Cogliano. And Cogliano angles the puck ahead. Here's Jackman trying to get through. Sent it across. Hit the skate of one of the Kings. Recovered by the Ducks and in front. And Mike Richards will angle it off the boards. He tries to put it right up in the Anaheim bench.
And at the last second, a couple of guys just barely knocked out their way. That was a dangerous shot coming over the boards, but Mike Richards had to relieve some pressure. Sami Vatanen on his last shift and broke his stick in the neutral zone. Now watch Richards come in here and just tweak him a little there. That was a sly little play. He got away with it. Vatanen was going to try to hold him up a little, and Richards said, well, I'll just tweak you around. LA should have taken better advantage of it. That savvy play by Mike Richards.
Justin Williams angles it off the boards for Los Angeles, but it's sent right back in by Clayton Stoner. All the way to the far side, Patrick Maroon. Edom in there on the forecheck. Kings get to it. Williams for Los Angeles. Pressured a couple of Anaheim players here. They take it away. High slot. Fowler. Oh, he didn't miss by much. Quick spinning around, trying to get back in position. Now Fowler again. That shot hit a teammate. Getzlaf out in the high slot. Now Maroon for Edom. Getzlaf with it. Oh, look at the move, but a good poke check there by Kopitar. Two of the game's best going one-on-one there, and Kopitar got him that time. Now Williams sends it back into the Anaheim zone. LaBarbera took a quick look to where he was going to move the puck and realized that it took a strange bounce off of one of the stanchions. And back the other way now, Anaheim on the counterattack. Ricard Raquel sends it in deep. Clifford is there. Knocked away by the Ducks and out in front. Bounces out to the high slot. Picked up by Manson. Now Williams. Hit hard by Cogliano.
Boy, these two teams have really punished each other along the wall.
Cogliano makes a move. Comes in on Doughty with a shot. Extra save. And he covers up.
Oh, what a terrific shot off the rush by Cogliano. And Jonathan Quick just fights this one off. I don't think he was even sure he actually saved it all the way. He had to look behind for a second, but Cogliano with great speed backs off Doughty, gets the shot away. And look at Quick coming out and challenge. And he followed the puck right into his blocker. He's set, but then where did it go? His reactions just lightning quick again in this game tonight. Tough to beat, Jonathan Quick.
Cogliano, whose only goal so far this season, way back on October 17th against Minnesota, he's had a couple of opportunities tonight. Kessler wins the draw cleanly. Left to the net just over the glove and over the head of Jonathan Quick. And Mike Richards center ice for Los Angeles. Knocked away by Kessler. Recovered now by Silverberg. Sends it back to number 17, and Kessler gets it deep. Molesky getting it on the forecheck there against Braden McNabb. Knocked the puck free. McNabb trying to recover. He does. Now Doughty. Look out as the puck's right out, and Vatanen had that teed up. I don't think he wanted his teammate Silverberg to touch that puck.
That's for sure.
Back the other way, Richards. Now it comes back out to Doughty. Angles it off the boards, where it's picked up by Dwight King. King looking toward the middle. Kessler keeping an eye on him. Now it's not free. The crowd reacting to play away from the puck. And backhanded by Silverberg in behind Jonathan Quick. Now Carter. Wristing one into the glove of LaBarbera, who has to hold it. And
Dustin Brown trying to get the puck out of his zone, and he takes a hit to make a play. Brown does a good job sensing that Vatanen is pinching down on him. Vatanen was completely airborne. on that hit, but Brown didn't have to absorb very much of it. Sammy Vatanen is the most aggressive defenseman for Anaheim in the offensive zone, both with the puck and without.
Well, the draw, neither team controls. Now the Ducks get it off the skate of Edom, and it's sent by Green right back into the Anaheim zone under 2 minutes remaining here in the second period. It's been a terrific game. Playoff-like atmosphere in the stands and on the ice. Now the Ducks get control. Try to send it along the board, but intercepted by Carter ahead for Tyler Toffoli. Toffoli backhands it ahead. Martinez, the defenseman, well up on the rush. And the Ducks get it back the other way for Ryan Getzlaf across the line. Getzlaf, top of the circle, lets it go, saved by Quick. Rebound comes to the board. Smith-Pelly out to the line. Now back in deep. Getzlaf with it again, tries to get it in front off the stick, and Toffoli trying to get control. Pocket picked by Getzlaf. Look at the patience, hands it off now. Lindholm shot blocked. The chance here for Edom. And Quick got a piece of that, less than a minute remaining in the second period. Smith-Pelly battling with Martinez. Now Edom comes down as well. Lindholm coming down from the left point. Smith-Pelly. Far side now for Carlson. Carlson protects, centering pass knocked away by Doughty. Out to the line, held in by Manson. Angle off the boards, and Toffoli will send it back the other way. Left down by Raquel, hands it off for Cogliano, pushes it ahead for Carlson. Carlson backhand pass, blocked by Martinez, but sent in on Quick, and then he is knocked down by an Anaheim player who had himself been checked.
Carlson doing a good job of staying with that play on the rush. Martinez has a good stick, 27 white, will stop this initial pass. Then he can't get the handle on it. Carlson is able to just shovel it into the crease. And Getzlaf's last shift, he just owned the puck. He had it 3 different times. In traffic, he can hold on to it, holds on till the last second, waits till other people get open. Then he turned the puck over one other time right after that, took it to the net. Terrific stuff from Getzlaf.
Williams backhands it ahead. Gabrick will send it back into the Anaheim zone. It was knocked off the puck, recovered by Kopitar. Kopitar angles it off the boards. It was knocked away, I should say, and gets past Muzzin. He has to chase it down. Well, a very interesting second period. Jason LaBarbera had to come in to replace Frederick Anderson. I'm sure that'll be one of the things that Liam, JR, and Keith will talk about. Kessler getting his first taste of this rivalry. And going back to the first game of our Wednesday night rivalry doubleheader, the Leafs stifle the Bruins offense. 3 goals in that period, 2 for Anaheim, 1 for LA. It is 3-2 Kings with the Discover Card intermission report right after this. The NHL on NBCSN is brought to you by the Discover It Card. It's a game changer. And by Frost Brewed Coors Light, the game's most refreshing beer. Kings with a 3-2 lead. Let's take a look at the Coors Light cold hard facts. And of course, since Daryl Sutter has arrived, 3 playoff years, they've won 10 of 11 series and won 2 Stanley Cups. But in the 17 years from their trip to the final in '93 with Gretzky and company and Daryl's arrival, 1 playoff series win between '94 and 2011. What a change since Daryl Sutter has arrived. And moments ago, you're taking a look at a Ducks special viewing party. Camp Pendleton, 40 miles south of Honda Center down in Oceanside. These are members of Camp Pendleton Single Marine Program, which was established to provide a forum for Marines to identify quality of life ideas and issues and recommend solutions. The Ducks have a long-standing relationship with the Marines at Camp Pendleton, and great to see those guys enjoying some hockey action and getting a little bit of...
And thanks for your service.
Yeah, absolutely.
Men and women.
Now out to center ice. It is pushed ahead by Edom. 7 shots on goal for number 16 through 2 periods of play. He certainly has come to play tonight with Getzlaf, and that hit the backside of the net. The goal light went on. The crowd at that end of the arena jumped up, but it was outside the post clearly.
From that angle, I couldn't see. It would have had to have gone through the net for the play to have continued.
Getzlaf back buying a little bit of time here on a change. Now it goes to Bolesky. Getzlaf goes to the bench. Kessler comes out. We heard Liam McHugh late in that second intermission talking about the stat line for Ryan Kessler with an assist. Terrific in the face-off circle. In the hitting department as well as the shot from Martinez is blocked, but number 27 picks it up again, hands it off now. With White kick, centering pass and a bang-bang play. LaBarbera was there as it was Mike Richards who had the opportunity. Now LaBarbera pulls the puck in and gets control.
Jonathan Quick covering the angle, and the puck was on the netting, and the goal judge got a little excited there. And the red light went on, but you can see how well covered it was. It just laid there for a second, which I guess fooled the goal judge. They fished it off the back, but the play went on. Definitely did not go in.
Quick has stopped 29 of 31 that he has faced. And now the official over, as you see, talking to the penalty timekeeper at center ice. I think they're just making an official announcement, although the referee's microphone did not work in the building, that it was no goal. And now they're announcing it over the PA, officially no goal. Raquel and Stoll on this faceoff. If Raquel's going to be allowed to stay in there, he is. And he wins the draw. Not easily done against Jared Stoll, one of the best in the business. As this puck rolls all the way back down behind the LA net. It'll be an icing call. Let's go inside the glass. Once again, here's Brian Engblom.
The biggest story for the Los Angeles Kings in this game has been Jonathan Quick. He's got 29 saves already. And watch him make the first save, but watch how quick he is to relax after he makes the first save. He's had to clean up a couple of his own messes in a big way because the shots that come at him on the rush, but he's so quick to smother the puck afterwards as well, too. Never gives up on it until he hears the whistle. And those legs, incredibly fast legs.
Two-time Stanley Cup champion and, of course, won the Conn Smythe back in 2012. And LA just kind of blitzed through everybody before finally taking down New Jersey in the Stanley Cup final. And this play offside at the Anaheim line. World Series of Fighting returns to NBCSN Saturday with 2 title fights in one night. Justin Gaethje and Melvin Guillard battle for the lightweight championship. Then Yushin Okamai and David Branch collide in the cage for the middleweight belt. World Series of Fighting Saturday at 9 Eastern right here on NBC.
And Anaheim created an awful lot of offensive chances. The Getzlaf, Smith, Pelly, Edom line has 11 shots on the game. And the Carlson, Cogliano, Rappel line has 10 shots. They have 2 points at least, but the Getzlaf line doesn't have anything yet.
A little pressure around Jason LaBarbera again, who came in to replace Frederick Anderson. And you heard Keith and JR talking in the studio about the gut shown by Coach Bruce Boudreau. Now as the puck is picked up here, Silfverberg slowed down a bit there by Muzzin. The two of them continue to battle. And Boudreau has shown, going back to last year's playoff series, if he feels a change is needed. This shot got through, and now it comes in front again for a chance. Ryan Kessler has tied it at 3.
Silfverberg makes an incredible play here. He literally puts it on a tee for Kessler to shoot it in the net. There's the forecheck by Silfverberg, number 33. He'll come back into play into the middle here, gets it on his backhand, puts it on the tee, and it's perfect for Kessler, who's walking down the slot here. Give it to me. That's why he wanted it. Great setup there, well organized. Very selfless play by Silfverberg in the slot, and a terrific shot by Kessler to tie this game.
Well, as JR said, games like this, these rivalry games, it's why you want a guy like Ryan Kessler in your lineup. And he goal and an assist. So now the Ducks have come all the way back after being down 2-0 and 3-1. Richards sends it back in front of chance here. Oh, save LaBarbera! 1-on-1 against Dwight King. Those are two great saves now that LaBarbera has made since coming in for Anderson. Now Maroon angles it back. Thompson drops it off. Maroon trying to just shake off Mike Richards. Maroon still using that big body. Knocked away though by Dwight King. Sends it back into the Anaheim zone, and this will be icing.
Oh, it was blown coverage by Anaheim inside their zone. Dwight King was all alone in front of the net. A good forecheck there. And then Anaheim gets 2-on-2 in the corner. Then they bring their third man. That allows the front of the net to be wide open. They don't see King get back up on his feet and gets a terrific pass right in front. And there's a brilliant save by LaBarbera. Exactly what the doctor ordered for Anaheim after having just tied this one up.
Well, the face-off back in the LA zone. Getzlaf and Richards on this draw. Linesman making sure everybody's correctly aligned. And the face-off comes out for a shot by Manson. That's turned aside by Quick. And it's cleared by Dustin Brown back into the Anaheim zone. Manson behind his own net. Hands it off to Lindholm. Lindholm now for Getzlaf. Makes a nice move in the neutral zone. Cross the line. Wrist shot easily steered aside by Quick. And Jake Muzzin gets to it. Hands it up the far side. Moved along by Smith Pelly. Gets it back from Edams. Manson front tended there for Getzlaf. Broken up. Good pitch here by Manson. Now it's taken back finally by the Kings, and Carter will send one in on LaBarbera. He had to get back quickly. The puck came right back at him off the stick of Trevor Lewis. Now Brayden McNabb couldn't get it by Edom in the high slot. And Raquel sends it back into the LA zone. Now McNabb hands it off. Williams backhands it ahead. And down by Vatanen, but it's picked up and controlled by Carlson, looking to cut in. William Carlson taken to the boards by McNabb. Now center up behind the net. Here's Carlson again. Looks to the front. Just misconnecting there with Cagliano. And it's sent back the other way, just out of the reach of Justin Williams. Ryan Allen for the Ducks.
That Carlson line's done a really good, solid job in this game. They forechecked really well. I mentioned after 2 periods, they had 10 shots on goal. Another good shift here for Anaheim.
Well, Brian, coaches will often look for positive signs during times of adversity, and they also don't want players to have excuses. But Bruce Boudreau saying that his team, without Corey Perry, Boschman, they've had other guys out of the lineup. He said, we don't think we're a team that's going to score 5 or 6. So he said, really, we've always known how to play defenses, and I think the guys are more focused on it for a longer period of time.
Well, they're not winning games 5-1 like they were early last year. This not going to be an icing call. Good hustle there by Mike Richards. But because Anaheim isn't winning games 5-1 like they were early last year, yeah, their focus is, if we're going to win, we better play deep.
Kessel broken up by Richards. Sent back in over top of the LA goal. Kessler has it again. Lays it off the back of the net, battling against Doughty. Kings get to it. Now Dwight King lost it, picked up on a shot, hit a body in front. Bolesky tried to center it. Richards for LA, plays it up the near side. Taken back by Anaheim. The Ducks doing a good job on the boards again. It's taken away by Mike Richards. And he'll send it back out to center ice.
Well, Richards is really tired. What a shift it's been. He hustled to negate the icing, came back on the back check and negated an offensive rush by Anaheim and turned the puck over there and got it down the ice.
Nate Thompson dumped it into the LA zone, but it is offside. And we will step aside. Ryan Kessler with an assist on a goal late in the second. Gets one here in the third, and we're tied at 3. Well, the shots on goal, 36-15 for Anaheim, is all part of the story. But when you add in shots that have missed the net and shots blocked by the opposition, Anaheim's had 59 attempts at the Los Angeles net, where the Kings have had 32 against the Ducks goaltenders tonight. And this puck up into the Anaheim bench and out of play.
Yeah, time of possession in the offensive zone heavily in favor of Anaheim for long stretches. They just couldn't get the puck to go in the net. Jason LaBarbera came in, made a couple of really key saves, which Jonathan Quick has been doing all night long. I mean, if Anaheim had been given any type of momentum early on by Quick being weak at all, this would be a very different looking game. Rather than 3-3 would be Anaheim up. And Quick, the biggest story for LA in this game.
As he has been very often this season for Los Angeles, he's been the best player, talking to people that cover the LA Kings on an everyday basis. Looks like he was during that 11-12 season leading up to that first Stanley Cup run.
Yeah, and he's playing a lot too. He's played in 13 of the 15 games they played, so now 14 of 16.
Here's Lewis, late man coming with a drive. McNabb save LaBarbera, and the puck all the way to the near corner.
That looked like that Alec Martinez chance early on in the first period. Defenseman coming late on the play. Bruce Boudreau called it the fourth man. Big chance there for McNabb.
Nate Thompson plays it off the boards into the LA zone, but the Kings get right to it. Doughty hands it off to Gabrick. Marian Gabrick steaming up the left side with a shot. He scores! Marian Gabrick makes it 4-3.
Some guys just have the touch. Marian Gabrick at full speed forced Sami Vatanen to turn and skate forward. Now, I know Vatanen put a stick on it. I don't know if he deflected it, and that was the problem for LaBarbera, because it's a bad angle shot. Well, watch Vatanen put his stick there, and it ramped up. I couldn't tell from here. It was on the far side of the ice. But on this kind of angle, normally those shots don't go in. That one did, right inside the post. A wicked shot. I don't think it was deflected on that last look. Big goal there for Gabrick.
Well, now Gabrick is, this will be icing against Anaheim. Now Gabrick has scored in consecutive games. He was out of the lineup with an injury, missed 8 games, and the guys in the studio were talking about that as well.
Well, Gabrick's just getting going too. He's had his injury problems. Vatanen was reaching. I could actually hear the click of the stick on stick when Vatanen put his stick on Gabrick's, but I don't think it was deflected. It was just a terrific shot, but one that should have been saved by LaBarbera.
Penalty coming against Anaheim. Delayed call now as Quick gets to the bench. Extra attackers on, but the Ducks touch up. And so Los Angeles will have just their second power play opportunity of this game, and the first for either team here in the third.
Brian Allen going to the penalty box. Penalty kill came into this game just under 85% for Anaheim, and this is absolutely a critical kill that they're going to have to come up with. There's Allen right off the faceoff, fishing for it, reaching. He kept his feet moving, but once he got his stick pried in between the feet, it was all over.
Kopitar, Carter, Gabrick, Martinez, and Doughty out here on this power play. Doughty with a shot. LaBarbera steers out of side. Gabrick moves it along. Taken back by Fowler. Nice confident pass there to Ryan Getzlaf, who hands it off to Kessler. Kessler and Getzlaf, not a bad duo to have out here on a penalty kill. Now Quick thought he was giving it to a teammate. It was picked up by Kessler, who almost jammed it in on the short side on the penalty kill. Nice shift there for number 17, who heads to the bench.
Well, he's the hottest guy for the Ducks for the goal and assist. We want him out there whenever, but also he could be out there for a face-off along with Getzlaf.
Now Getzlaf with Cogliano. Getzlaf waits, shoots, and Quick.
Boy, Getzlaf with another terrific shift there, and a long one, even in the penalty kill. He holds on to the puck so well. That was the last rush there by Kessler, but just relentless on the puck. Tried to catch the wraparound chance there, but Kopitar, number 11, coming back, shut him off. And then on this last rush, again, in traffic. Look at Getzlaf's patience. Just waits, lets traffic develop in front and shoots the puck on Quick.
Lindholm backing up, sends it off the glove of Quick. Back deep in the LA zone. Just about halfway through the Brian Allen minor penalty. LA with a 4-3 lead. And this play offside at the Anaheim line.
Dwight King was wide open on that left wing. Fortunate for Anaheim that wasn't offside on the near side. There's a look at Getzlaf and Ryan Kesler having a little conversation about their last shift out there shorthanded. Kessler's still getting used to all his teammates.
Yeah.
It takes a while. You know, what do you like to do? You have to get a feel for players. You can't always talk your way through it.
Now Silverberg picks it up, and Quick sliding across made the save. Now McBain getting a little opportunity on the power play here. Plays it ahead. Mr. Brown trying to get through a couple of Anaheim penalty killers. Hansen trying to eat the puck down low, but the Kings dig it out of there. Richards out to McNabb. Backhand pass was deflected by Thompson, but the Kings keep it in. Dwight King gets in there. Silverberg for the Ducks. Now it comes back out to the line. McBain slides it across. McNabb with a shot through traffic. LaBarbera able to make the save and hang on.
Net front presence by Dustin Brown, who will hang in there with the best of them. Does a good job. Can't get a piece of this shot, but D to D, and the shot gets through from McNabb. That's the key thing. There's Brown waiting for a little loose change, and Mike Richards on a timing pattern top of your screen coming from the corner, looking for any rebound, but LaBarbera swallowed it all up.
16 seconds remaining on this LA power play. Now it's Lewis, Stoll, Carter, Muzzin, and Doughty. It comes out to Doughty straight away with a shot that was blocked. Devontae Smith-Pelly doing a good job on the kill, and now Vatanen will skate it back the other way and lay it softly along the boards in behind Quick. Taken away by Smith-Pelly. Sends it out in front, just misconnecting there with Ryan Getzlaf, who would come off the bench as it is sent back down behind the Anaheim goal. Played there by LaBarbera, recovered now by Getzlaf. LA managed a couple of shots on that power play, but it remains a 4-3 LA lead after the Ducks successful on the penalty kill. Now Carter starts it back the other way. Getzlaf chasing him. Centering pass not through, but Stoll was tied up on the play. Getzlaf now had a little self pass there, but Gabrick was ready for that.
Carter with a different combination out there as well. That 70s line has not been very effective at all really in this game for Los Angeles, not the way they have been in so many games this year.
Quick for Martinez. Slides it ahead now for Williams. Williams will lift it ahead. Bounces in wide of LaBarbera, who's the goaltender of record now. And he's given up the goal that's the difference in the game. Kopitar across. Martinez with a shot. LaBarbera save. Rebound, score! Justin Williams. No chance for LaBarbera on that one. And the Kings, once again, with a 2-goal lead.
Positioning is everything on this goal. The shot gets to the point, and LaBarbera makes the save, but it goes right to Justin Williams. William Karlsson is within reach, but just can't quite get there. Top of your screen, you see 14 white circle. Karlsson is with him, but he doesn't react quite as quickly to Justin Williams. Goal scorers just have a knack of where to go. There's the initial save, and Williams just barely got that one inside the far post, didn't he? Just an inch or two. Karlsson saw the play developing. Williams saw it faster, and he increases the lead 5-3.
Well, Brian, you just mentioned that 70s line has been held in check, but how about Gabrick, Kopitar, Williams? All have scored a goal in this game, and that's what great players on great teams with depth will do.
Daryl Sutter said he put Williams back with those guys to get them going, to get Kopitar and Gabrick going. We mentioned their injuries and just a slow start. Williams, same thing. He doesn't have a lot of points either. But boy, they've been more than effective in this game.
Shot here just wide of Quick on the stick side. Even though Williams didn't have a point in that Vancouver game Saturday night, he was effective going to the net, causing all kinds of disturbance and creating space for his line mates. And now getting rewarded with a goal.
And Silverberg just got hurt. I think he got hacked on the arm here by McNabb. He's coming to the bench here, hurting on that right arm.
Now the Kings looking for more out in front of LaBarbera. 8 minutes straight up remaining here in the third period. Does Anaheim have another pushback? Smith Pelly across the line. Taken to the boards there by Brayden McNabb. Maroon challenging McBain. Comes back to the line. Allen toward the net, but the Kings were there. And now it comes to center ice. Could be a 2-on-1 developing. Here is Stoll with a shot. He hit the goal post. Carter was moving up the right side. A couple of Ducks were coming back with some backside pressure.
Yeah, Stoll just took his time there. There wasn't any pass to be made in the middle. Good shot, not good enough.
Getzlaf, another terrific idea there and pass, but back the other way now. Raquel has to lean on Justin Williams. Raquel pushes it along. Lindholm now jumps into the play, gets the shot away, stick broken.
That was a terrific chance. He had room and time to shoot too, and his stick just failed on him.
Now it's knocked away by Gabbert, but recovered by Anaheim. Fowler with it, now forced back deeper into his own zone. Raquel across the line, top of the circle with a drive, save, quick rebound chance. And that was Carlson that got a stick on that. And Quick made another stop. Now Carlson with Doughty on him. Back to the line. Stoner shot does not get through. That was Richards in front. Now back to the front of the net again, but Doughty doing a good job. As Molesky was looking for an opportunity.
Clayton Stoner doing a good job twice there, keeping the puck inside the zone. A little risky, but you're down 2 with 6 minutes to go. You got to do it.
Now Raquel with a shot that's blocked by Martinez. And Alec Martinez had it slapped away. Recovered by the Kings. And Richards sends it back the other way. And Mike Richards has played an effective game tonight, Brian.
He has. He's had a really good start to the season. Richards spent a lot of time with a personal trainer this year. He hasn't done that in a few years. He's in great shape and have a good year.
What a move by Kessler. Trying to finish it now. Wrap around. He scores! It is not over yet with 5:40 remaining.
Boy, terrific hands by Ryan Kessler on the attack here. He's got such tenacity and such great skill with the puck. Look at it, he pulled that into his feet, never gave up on the play. And by the time he went around the net, he got it under control so quickly. The players know when they go for the wraparound, it doesn't matter where you try to put it, you just have to beat the goaltender to the near post. That was the idea. Look at that little cutback move there. That was simply outstanding. But there's no hesitation on it. He beat McNabb on that first move, stayed with it, stayed with it, stayed with it, and then the quickness around the net beats Jonathan Quick. And another terrific play by Ryan Kessler with what, a 3-point night now?
Yep, second goal, third point. Well, 2 of the 5 teams, Brian, that were averaging, as you pointed out, giving up less than 2 goals a game.
Yeah,
well, that's why
9 goals.
Yeah, throw the numbers out the window when rivals get together. Botnin and Lindholm getting the assists. Kopitar getting it. Good stick, though, by Stoner. Broke it up. Approaching 5 minutes remaining now here in regulation time. Gabbert, Williams, and Kopitar, the line that's accounted for 3 of the goals. Backhanded by Williams, and LaBarbera had to get tied up against that post, didn't he?
That was close. Williams was quick picking that off the back wall and trying to go short side.
And will this be icing? Yes.
Boy, Justin Williams has quick hands too, boy. Anaheim has had trouble on the against the Kopitar line up the middle. We saw Kopitar in the first period go up the middle, get pulled down, and have a penalty shot and score. He tried to sneak up the middle again and almost stole the puck and got a clean chance on it. And then Williams fishing the puck off the end wall, real close to jamming that one by LaBarbera.
Richards wins the draw from Raquel. Doughty plays it around the far side. Williams couldn't get it out. Ducks have it again. Looking to tie this up late is William Karlsson. Knocked off his stick, recovered by Cogliano. Reverses against Mike Richards. Cogliano hands it off for a shot that goes just wide. Now Manson, second effort to hold it in. Carlson keeps it alive. Long range shot. Off an LA stick, goes up over top of the net.
Hit Muzzin in the feet.
Now Lindholm again plays it along. Muzzin plays it around, will not come out. Lindholm will hold it in now for Carlson again.
Kopitar's got no stick.
Back out down to Lindholm. Lindholm with a shot that goes up on the glass behind quick. Agliano as the Ducks keep the pressure on. They're down by a goal. Here's Manson with a shot to Trevor. Quick to save. And Williams wants to clear but doesn't want to ice it, and he executes that perfectly.
That was a heads-up play by Lindholm. He got it back over to the right D to Manson because Manson was head up on Kopitar. Kopitar had no stick. Taking advantage of this situation, Anaheim did. Smart play by Lindholm.
Quick for Green. Green. And Lewis trying to chip it out. Good battle along the board by number 22, and now he pushes it ahead and just offside. Boy, Carter wanted to drag that ahead for perhaps a 2-on-1. Boy, a lot of action here in the third. Gaborik scoring, followed by Justin Williams. Well, then Kessler has brought us back to a one-goal game. NHL Network tomorrow, 8 Eastern, Colorado with the Rangers. Brian and I will be in Buffalo for San Jose and Buffalo Tuesday night, 7 Eastern here on NBCSN. Wednesday night rivalry next Wednesday, Doc. Edzo Pierre, Flyers, Rangers. Always a terrific matchup. 3:20 remaining here in the third. Kings with a 5-4 lead. First game between these two teams since their Game 7 of their second round series last spring that ended in this building with LA winning 6-2.
Oh, terrific play by Trevor Lewis along the wall there. He just played hard against Vatanen, who was pinching in, hammered him along the wall, and then the Kings got the puck out of the zone.
Vatanen for Fowler, sends it back now. Here comes Kessler. 2 goals here in the third period. Bidding for another, it was blocked. He has it again. Now he sends it along in deep, looking for Bolesky. Silverberg there as well. Number 33, he has it. Hands it off. Lindholm for Bolesky. Rolls it right through the goal mouth to the far side. Silverberg. Hands it off in deep. Picked up by Kessler. Ryan Kessler. Turns, tries to wheel it in front. Off the stick of one of the King defenders. And it's out to center ice. Richards plays it deep into the Anaheim zone. Dustin Brown wanted to center, but Lindholm got the stick there and cleared it out to center ice.
Really good positioning and hard work in the key areas by Los Angeles there on that last shift. Along the wall, and then Martinez in front of the net, making sure he's covering his man. The pass in front from Kessler didn't reach its target because of good coverage.
Far side now for Manson, gets it in deeper. Keep an eye on Jason LaBarbera with 1:50 remaining. And Getzlaf tried to get it out in front. It was blocked. Kopitar angles it off the board. Botkin sent it across. Just missed the stick of Smith-Pelly, who wheels a fire. He scored! That's it! Devontae Smith-Pelly have tied it with 1:39 to go in the third.
The big line was executing and getting chances all night long, but they couldn't get anything to drop. And then this one from a bad angle, was it tipped in front? Yeah, Getzlaf. I thought Getzlaf might have gotten it because of his celebration afterwards. Their turnaround spin move, and that's why. The redirection, that one would never have gone in otherwise. But Getzlaf, who has made so many great plays in this game, gets one on a redirection from a bad angle shot, and we're tied up again at 5-5.
What an alert play by Smith-Pelly, not unlike what Drew Doughty did in the first period, Brian, just hammering that puck toward the net.
You're down to less than 2 minutes, you're down a goal. That's the idea. Everything to the net from everywhere.
Now Silverberg with a chance that is deflected up on the netting and out of play.
Well, they generated so much. They had 11 shots, Getzlaf line did, after 2 periods. They had chances in tight. We showed you some of the great plays that Getzlaf himself had made on the rush and around the net. And in that redirection, huge goal here for Anaheim.
Smith-Pelly and Vatanen getting the assist on the goal by Ryan Getzlaf. That'll be his 5th of the season. And we've got a 5-5 game. Gaborik Moves it along. These two teams that play each other in Los Angeles Saturday. Wrap around, and LaBarbera there. Loose puck. Nobody with control. Now Kessler plays it up the far side. Well, these are the games against your division rivals. You want to get two, and you'd love to be able to do it without giving the other guy one. Well, right now, it looks like we're headed that way, but there's still 50 seconds remaining in regulation. Now Lewis bounces off a check. Goes off the stick of a couple of players, and now Edom trying to get going the other way. What a recovery by Trevor Lewis,
who was covering up for Doughty, who was up on the play and was caught.
Now across for Lewis. Lewis looks to the front, backhands it right to the front of the net, and it's picked off by Edom. He starts back with speed. 3 against 3 into the LA zone. McKelly waits, late man coming, gets left. Oh, he missed the net. What a glorious chance there for the Anaheim captain.
He had to go high. He had to shoot it quick. He was tapping his stick. He wanted the puck badly. Jared Stoll went down, took away everything low, and Getzlaf had to try and pick the top corner. Didn't miss. Oh, Getzlaf scored the goal to tie it up at 5-5 and could have been the hero in the dying seconds. Watch this play in the middle of the ice. Jared Stoll will go down. Getzlaf looks, fires, knows exactly where he wants to go. Got it caught in the toe of the stick and just a tad over the crossbar.
The Zambonis are out for the dry scrape. We will step away. We'll be back with the start of overtime. The Ducks and the Kings, 5-5 after 3. Well, two teams that average giving up less than 2 goals a game coming in have combined for 10. Brian Engblom, let's take a look at all of them.
Oh, it's been a wild game. Andrei Kopitar got things going on a penalty shot. A really nice move. He goes 5-hole on Anderson, and then Drew Doughty on the point with a screenshot in front. That made it 2-0. Cam Fowler not to be undone. Outdone. He shoots from the top of the circle. That made it 2-1.
And then Lewis with the goal that chases Anderson. LaBarbera comes in, makes a terrific save, and then right back down the ice, Silverberg scores here, and Anaheim gets back to within 1. And then it became the Ryan Kessler show in the third period, Brian. This one here early on to tie things up. But then as LA does so well, they bounce back with 2 straight.
That was a beautiful job by Kessler to score that goal, and then great shot by Gabber comes down the wing. Boy, we've seen some sharpshooting. That's Williams scoring into a virtually empty net on the rebound. Then the wraparound goal, just pure second effort by Ryan Kessler. And then the deflection by Ryan Getzlaf on a spin-around shot by Smith Capelli. And that tied it up at 5-5. Just a wild third period. And basically the whole game has been wild. A lot of action. None of us expected this to be a 5-5 game with both these defensive-minded teams up to this point.
And Brian, this is the 4th and final game of a homestand for Anaheim, and every single game has gone past regulation. And in each of the previous 3, Anaheim has managed only to get 1 point. They lost in overtime to the Islanders. They lost in a shootout to the Coyotes, and then in a shootout again in the last game against Vancouver. So
yeah, and four of their 5 have either gone overtime or shootout. So a long stretch here. Interesting for Jonathan Quick and his guys too. They're in a stretch here of 6 of 7 games at home, and this one's almost like a home game because they stayed in practice in their own rink and then drove down here to Anaheim. Obviously, it's not their arena, but pretty easy road trip.
So the Ducks 2 and 3 so far in the 5 games that have gone beyond regulation. The Kings 1 and 3. 4 skaters aside. The dry scrape has given us better ice conditions to start here, and it's the long change like it is in the second period. I will say, Brian, even some of the recent games that we've watched that have not been decided in overtime and still had to go to a shootout, some of the most exciting overtime hockey. There's so few whistles, and it just goes up and down the ice. We'll see what these teams produce here.
Well, I think it definitely has helped with the dry scrape. Even the puck slides much better. The players can make more plays. Sometimes the ice was so chipped up and passed in overtime that they couldn't really make plays the way they wanted to. A lot of them have been decided in overtime early on in this season.
Silverberg pressured by Carter. Trying to stay with it, number 33. He drops it back. Now Manson. Bruce Boudreau showing a lot of confidence in the young defenseman, number 42. Back on the attack now. A chance here is deflected away by Quick up on the netting. And out of play.
Oh, that was a vicious deflection. You could see Jonathan Quick flinch on that one. He wasn't sure where it was going to go because Martinez got a stick on it. He's done a heck of a job of tracking the puck. Jonathan Quick does. Silverberg's had a strong game.
He has. Well, again, you play different roles, different minutes when guys high up in the roster go out of the lineup like a Corey Perry. A shot here. Deflected in and Quick knocked it in the corner. Now Martinez trying to spin away from the pressure. Green is turned back by Bolesky. Slides it across to Alec Martinez. Now for the captain, Dustin Brown. He's been quiet in this game. Turned back the other way. Green has it. Brings it back ahead, and Brown with control. Waits. Hands it off for Jared Stoll. Back for Brown. Dustin Brown waits, changes, gets the shot away, and it was just deflected by Fowler, and Brown's stick broke. Back the other way now for Kessler across the line. Kessler waits, hands it off. Bolesky. And his shot was blocked to the near side of the LA zone. 2 minutes gone in the overtime. Trevor Lewis back up the ice on the attack. Shot is blocked up high on the glass. Hits off the back of the net. Now it's picked up by Williams. Williams up on his toes. They're going to go wide on Allen. Turns back. Now across for Doughty, who timed it, chipped into the play. Doughty being watched by Cogliano. Now back in deep for Lewis. Good aggressive play there by Semi Botnin. Now Botnin will drop it back. And Brian Allen will hand it off. The Ducks out of their own zone. Carlson drops it off. Cogliano to the backhand. Good stick there. Come back on a better chance for Lindholm. And that was blocked by Doughty.
Oh, terrific setup there. The timing was great for Lindholm. A big defensive play by Doughty.
Lindholm with a timing pass, and Quick just very calmly with the poke check knocked it away. Now Williams across the line, trying to lead Kopitar. 2 minutes remaining in the overtime. Manson again. Nice little confident outlet pass there to Edom. Emerson Edom across the line, drops it back. Getzlaf cruising in. Getzlaf with a shot save made by Quick. Boy, it looked like he might carry that further, but boy, he pulled the trigger quickly. Now one of the Ducks falls down. Here comes Kopitar the other way. Martinez going for the net. Drop pass. Gaborik. And that was knocked aside by LaBarbera. And in the half remaining in overtime. 49-26 shots favor Anaheim. As Lindholm lays it along the boards behind Quick. Now it comes to Matt Green. Green works it ahead. Kings fans are chanting. The Ducks fans are trying to drown them out. We have an icing and a face-off all the way back in the LA zone.
3-on-2 for the Los Angeles Kings because Ryan Getzlaf bumps into Manson, knocks Manson down. Getzlaf realizes what happened. Look how hard he works to get back on the play. But still, it turns into a great chance. Getzlaf completely gassed on the play, laid down on it. I think he even got a piece of that. But LaBarbera made the save. Dangerous because of an accidental collision between Getzlaf and Manson.
Kessler and Carter. Carter controls. Green chips it along McNabb. Kessler with 2 goals and an assist in this game as the puck out of the reach of Carter. And icing with a minute remaining in the overtime. Actually, a couple of seconds went off the clock, I think, after the icing was indicated. We'll see if they put any time back up. And they are calling the official over.
Got their mobile defense, their offensive guys for this offensive face-off. Kessler's going to take the draw. Botman and Fowler playing together here. Both those guys really good at carrying the puck with the 4-on-4 extra ice. That's what they're looking for from those two.
And they did put a little bit of time, exactly 1 minute remaining now in the overtime. Face-off comes to Fowler. Fowler turns just inside the line, hands it off Botman. Botman puts on the brakes, waits. Trying to hand it off there to Kessler, who's well covered. And now Richard slides it ahead for Carter. Jeff Carter across the line with a shot that's blocked up on the glass. Up in the air, it's now still in play. Silverberg will chase it down. He'll drop it back. 35 seconds remaining in the overtime. Fowler. Not the pass he wanted. Muzzin hands it off to Doughty. Doughty goes back to Big Muzzin. Now that hit the skate of Kessler. Kessler trying to make a play. Ryan Kessler just couldn't reach it. Pitching in though along the boards with Stoner. It stays in the LA zone. 12 seconds remaining. Muzzin will try to clear. Didn't get it past Lindholm. Sends it back along for Kessler. Doughty took a quick peek at the clock. Oh, big hit there by Stoner. He had Dustin Brown in a tough position, and he delivered that huge hit as time was winding down.
That was a big hit by Stoner. There was nothing wrong with it. He had the situation just primed for him. Brown had to handle the puck and had his head down. He wanted to get it out of the zone. You see him tracking it, and here comes Stoner. Stoner doesn't leave his feet until after the impact. He stays down, hits him. A lot of the defensemen for Anaheim are not that physical. They added Clayton Stoner this year to be a physical guy after a few years playing in Minnesota. He has definitely been that guy in this game tonight. Some big hits from Clayton Stoner.
So we head to the shootout. LA's been involved in a couple of them as you look at the career numbers for Jonathan Quick. LA 1-1. The Ducks have been involved in 3. They've won 1 and lost 2. Jason LaBarbera, the goaltender that came in.
He's done a terrific job. He had to make some
great job.
Really key saves. He made one giant one before Kessler scored one of his goals that ended up being a really key 2-goal swing in this game.
This will be the 3rd game he's played, Jason LaBarbera, for Anaheim, having won in Colorado and then losing in overtime to the Islanders. But it'll be Marian Gaborik who will shoot first. A big extra point on the line between these two division rivals. Last-minute instructions for the goaltender LaBarbera. And here comes Gaborik, first shooter in the shootout. Score!
Coming in from an angle, a lot of the players will do that. Most of them, as a matter of fact. Left-hand shot coming down the right wing side. Keeps it on the forehand, forces the goaltender. Are you going to move? How quickly are you going to move? And LaBarbera moved a little too quickly on the short side and certainly gave a lot of room up top.
Jakob Silverberg will shoot first for Anaheim to try to tie things up in the shootout. And he does! Oh, one side!
Oh, some quick stick handling, but it's the perfect release. This is unstoppable. There's nothing you can do. He gets it right up under the bar. Jonathan Quick is out. He's challenging. He takes away the glove side as best he can. That's unstoppable.
Jeff Carter will try to break the deadlock here with the shootout. He comes with speed straight up the middle. Save LaBarbera!
Well done by LaBarbera there. LaBarbera, I think, wants a little bit of water or something. He might be getting a little thirsty, dehydrated there. He was signaling him for a little water, but he has his arm tight into his body, his glove ready, and he squeezed that one.
And now he gets a fresh water bottle to squeeze as Kessler has a chance now to give the Ducks the lead in the shootout. Going wide, back to the middle of the ice. Score!
Coming in on the angle, the right-hand shot on the left wing side. Similar to the Gaborik goal, except that the shot is low blocker. There was room. Quick wasn't quite protecting the short side enough, and Kessler made a great shot.
LaBarbera can win it with a save. Kopitar scored a penalty shot earlier against Anderson. Save LaBarbera! And what a celebration for the veteran who comes in. He's been the goalie of record 3-time crying. He's got 2 wins, plus an overtime point. What a story. Jason LaBarbera. And the gutsy move, as the guys in the studio talked about, by Bruce Boudreau to make the goalie change when he made it. It pays off. Like Kopitar, he tried to go backhand through the legs and was successful on the penalty shot. That time, a different tactic against Jason LaBarbera, and LaBarbera was able to make the stop. And the Ducks win this in a shootout by a final score of 6-5, as the Kings will fall to 1-3-3 in games played away from Staples Center. And Ryan Kesler now is coming out of the Anaheim dressing room, the hero of the game, and he is with Brian Engblom. Brian?
Ryan, that was an absolutely wild game. When you guys were down in the game and your goaltender was pulled, what was going on? Did you feel like there was still a calm and a confidence there?
We felt like we were in control of the game. We just had a couple unlucky bounces. We played a great game tonight. Even after our first period being down 2-0, I thought we battled back hard every time, and that's a sign of a good character team.
What did you see when you went down on your shot?
I saw a low blocker. So last time I hit the post, this time I went in. So, you know, I'm figuring it out.
Does it feel any difference playing against the LA Kings with Anaheim than it did? You're used to playing against them with Vancouver a lot.
Yeah, exactly. You know, I kind of had my own rivalry with Vancouver with them, so it's just an intense game. It's a fun game to play in, and we played well tonight.
Congratulations, you did.
Thank you.
Dave.
Well, the first chapter of the freeway face-off of this year goes to Anaheim, 6-5 on the shootout. For Brian Engblom and the rest of our crew here in Anaheim, I'm Dave Strader. Thanks for joining us. Stay with us here on NBCSN. NFL Turning Point is coming up right after these messages.